Please to join and arrive, and we'll start soon. Okay, so I think we should start. So good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome and thank everyone for attending today's webinar. My name is Mohammed Maid, and with me is engineer Ismail Log. We'll be talking about ecosystem building and creating your own smart factory with SolarLabs, which is Sharjah Open Innovation Labs. So we're first going to take you on a virtual tour through the park and our success story. So our park is the first science park in the UAE. It organically involves 3 different sectors, which is academia, industry, and then government as well. Sharjah usually invests $1 billion annually in R&D and education and innovation. Hopefully, we'll be housing over 200 of the world's leading innovation companies, entrepreneurs, and startups. The way we go through things here in SRTIP is we try to first build an innovation ecosystem. And then from that, we generate employment, and then try to catalyze the knowledge economy that we have, and then invest for the future and the future of our generations as well. We are proud members of different companies internationally. We are a member of the International Association of Science Parks in the US. We work with the ABB closely. We work with Fraunhofer in Germany, Oulu Technical University in Finland, and way more. We focus on 6 main industries, which is water technology, environmental technology, renewable energy, digitization, mobility, logistics, and smart cities, and production, design, and architecture. So some of the success stories that we have here in SRTIP is Merlin, which develops sustainable methods of agriculture and production due to us being in a really, really harsh climate. We need as a country to be more self-sustainable, and Merlin helps us to get there with going through techniques such as hydroponics, aquaponics, and aeroponics, and vertical growing as well. We also have Virtual R&D, which is an AI company that focuses on psychology. They try to build up a roadmap of your brain or neurological system and map, and then they try to know how to break some mental disorders such as anxiety, depression, and then they also help in rehab facilities with getting rid of addictions as well. We also have Napta Health, which is a hybrid healthcare model to help discover new ways for women to prevent, identify, and manage NCDSs. ITD is a proud partner as well. They have a transformation approach to help organizations better understand the needs of their people through VR and AR. So for example, if we have an oil rig company and then they want to take some of their employees to training. So instead of doing it in real life, which is way riskier, they put them in this AR world, which they can navigate through, try to install some plumbing, try to install some equipment and see if they would pass through there first. Civil Twin Renewable Middle East is a Spanish company that had a breakthrough in solar power research for testing photovoltaic panels in the region. Kafu is a fuel delivery app, which is created by a local entrepreneur as well. They have a system of getting a fuel pump in your pocket. So you can order wherever you are, whenever you are, the amount of fuel that you want, and you just pay through a click of a button. We're also a test bed for self-driving vehicles. To get there is a Dutch company that helps transport engineers, designers, fabricators from one facility to the other within the park. We're also a proud partner of Nokia 5G. We are developing and demonstrating key technical solutions and concepts based on smart 5G light pole infrastructure. This will help. This will be a key enabler for hopefully digital smart cities in the future. We have Mensa, which focuses on 3D printing with metal, which we have the latest GE 3D printing machine with metal. We are one of maybe even the only country within the MENA region that have this technology. Recently, within the pandemic, we helped with producing over 40,000 face shields with the Mensa. We also have Meet, which is a 3D printing technology company that uses concrete to print 3D villas, which are cost-effective, sustainable, and they finish on a really tight time schedule. So we also have the first 3D printed villa in the region here in the park. Skyway is a revolutionary transportation and logistics company. They started with a test bed and within our park of a 400-meter sustainable suspendable train, and then they're going on to a 2.8 project, 2.8 kilometer project now, which will transport people and cargo at the same time. The train will transport people up to the speeds of 600 kilometers per hour, but due to it being limited to the park, it will only travel to 180 kilometers per hour and can carry up to 6 to 7 tons of cargo with it as well. We're also proud to work really closely with the UN. We will be having their first technology innovation labs set up here in the park as well. So the main focus or the main topic, Soy Labs, Sharjah Open Innovations Labs, and this is a place that I keep closely and dearly to my heart because let me talk about Soy Lab first. So what Soy Lab is, it's a maker space for different types of people from different backgrounds. It puts academia, industry, government all in one place in an ecosystem where they can work together and produce take ideas from paper to reality. And this is a place that I would have loved of having the opportunity to go to as a child, because as a child, for example, I would have ideas and I couldn't even work on them because I wouldn't have access to the machinery that most people actually can't get access to. We have machineries that cost up to $1 million, $500,000, and way more. And engineer Ismail will go deeper into it as well. So this is a snapshot of some of the companies we have here in the park currently, and we are hoping that we would have most of you join as well soon. We also have SIA, which is Sharjah Advanced Industry Accelerator. It's an accelerator for smaller companies. It's focused on Industry 4.0, such as smart construction management, smart materials, sustainable design, green building, connected infrastructure and ecosystem, prefabrication, additive manufacturing, building information modeling. So I think I'll let engineer Ismail here take over and go deeply into Soy Lab and smart factories.
Right. Thank you, Mohammed, for the great introduction. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining in for this session. Today we're going to be mainly talking about Soy Lab, Sharjah Open Innovation Lab. It's a very exciting project we are working on, and hopefully we're looking to open within the next few months, hopefully by the end of summer or by the end of the year. The lab should be open and you will be able to come for yourself and see what we have been up to. Let me first share my screen, and I think now you should be able to see it. Yeah, perfect. So to begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ismail Tog. I am the founder and CEO of Benchwork Design and Technology, which is a company specializes in developing and establishing innovation labs in different kinds and forms. And Benchwork is the main developer of Soy Lab, which is Sharjah Open Innovation Lab at SRTIP Park. So today I'm going to take you through, first of all, of what is an open innovation lab, or what is a makerspace, or any of the names they are called, and why do we need one, and what is the importance of having one at the heart of Sharjah Open and Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park. So the first question is, what is an open innovation lab? And the best way to answer this question is by asking another question is, where can I go to invent? I have an idea of a new product, whether it's a hardware, a software, a piece of furniture, something, an idea that I came up with on my own, or I'm working for a company. And I found like a great solution for one of the products or one of the problems we are facing. Uh, but I don't know anybody who can actually take that idea and transform it into a functional prototype. Uh, so for that, there is a huge need for a place where I can find all the tools, machines, materials, expertise under one roof, where I can just go in and start producing something that can resemble my idea, or something that I can begin showing people so they can understand the concept of my invention. And this is the basically where an open innovation lab comes in. So in general, open innovation labs, they come in many different names, such as maker spaces, hacker spaces, fab labs, maker hub, open innovation lab, or any name anybody can come up with to basically cover the concept of a shared workspace with different tools, materials, and machines, where people can freely walk in, learn how to use these machines, learn how to use these equipments, and start building something or bring their ideas into reality, whether on their own or in a team. So some of the aspects of these open innovation labs are that they are open access. That means it's not exclusive memberships. Anybody from the outside world can become a member and basically join the lab and use its facilities. Another aspect of it is that it allows you to, or gives you access to multiple design tools and prototyping equipments, from 3D printing to metalworking, CNC machines, woodworking, electronics, textile, and so on. And it's also a collaborative workspace. So you can actually work in a team with different people from different backgrounds, and it's not an exclusive to only one specific type of, let's say, either students or professionals or people from one company. It's a mixed workspace. And also, these labs they also provide training and technical consultancy. So if you haven't used a 3D printer and you would like to learn how does it function, how to design for 3D printing, how to actually operate it, those spaces actually provide that training for you. Or if you need help from an expert in any of the fields of any of the fabrication or design or programming fields, you will actually be able to get that answer from the staff at the makerspace or the Open Innovation Lab. It also focuses on providing a nesting environment for tech startups. It's not only a lab, but it's also a co-working space, a business center, and a hub for companies to start. It provides all the main tools that you need, which is tables, chairs, phone, internet, coffee machine, and so on. And I also provide the tools and materials as well. Let's give you a little bit of a background of the maker culture or maker spaces from around the world. Recently, with the coming of the spread of the internet, basically sharing ideas and technical know-hows, and it became something really easy with the introduction of internet. If you compare it to the past, to actually understand how a piece of technology works, or where to get such and such material was a very painful process for anybody to actually get into the invention uh, basically world to have access to these material, advanced materials, or advanced machineries, or knowledge and skills. It wasn't as easy as now, where with a click of a button you can find a video on YouTube on how to assemble a certain machine, or how to use a CNC router, and so on and so forth. And also the with the rise of faster computers and advanced design tools and CAM software, anybody from any background can easily learn how to, for example, design something in 3D and then send it to a 3D printer, and there you have your first part done within a couple of hours, although you didn't have any experience beforehand. Also, collaboration and knowledge transfer made really easy. Right now, I can find the best engineer who is involved in a very specific, let's say, rocket engineering from the United States, and I can collaborate with somebody else from China who is a good programmer, and someone else from Egypt who is an expert in artificial intelligence, and I can link them together and build a project in a very short time, just by having access to all these tools we have today. So the need for a space, for a common space in every city, became something logical. So the idea spread like fire. I mean, different people came up with the same idea across the world simultaneously. It's not like makerspace was known as a concept and people started building makerspaces. No, it became as a natural development of having all these tools available and people getting more inspired to build and innovate. So let's say a community lab with all the tools and materials became a necessity for every city. And they started spreading around the world. As you see in the graph here, this is rough estimates of the numbers, how they boomed in every part of the world. And this is just a visual representation on a map on all the location for Fab Labs, which is one of the, let's say, the models of maker spaces. And this doesn't represent even half, maybe, of the makerspace and open innovation labs available around the world, which come in the thousands right now. These are some examples of some of the makerspaces in the UAE. There is Fab Lab Dubai. There's also Origin Base in Dubai as well, and there is Tech Shop in Abu Dhabi. And there are many other more labs available around the country, but they come in different names and different models, but the concept is the same, which is a lab full of equipment and tools, and where you can go there and become a member and learn how to use these machines. So let's talk about our Sharjah Open Innovation Lab. We have been working on basically developing the most advanced and most let's say, innovative, friendly environment for our members. The lab consists of several areas, from a metal shop to a wood shop to a laser area, 3D printing and laser scanning, textile, electronics, co-working space. Different parts of this lab will serve different kind of, basically will give you access to different kind of technologies and equipments. The location is very, very ideal. Basically, the lab sits in the heart of the SRTIB Park, and it's surrounded by the university city. And in the university city, we have a lot of universities in different fields, from engineering to architecture to design and different kind of sciences. We're also surrounded by the huge Sharjah industrial area, as well as the schools area and the free zones areas. And being at the center of all these industrial locations and educational areas is very ideal to attract different kind of stakeholders and bring them under one roof to share their ideas and to share their knowledge and skills. So let's talk about the parts of the Open Innovation Lab. First, we have the Project Hub, which is a large area with many different tools available, and also tables and chairs. And this is where teams and individuals can come, bring their materials and work on their projects as, you know, as a station, as a general station for these projects. As well as it's a presentation area where we can hold many lectures and also training workshops. We have the laser studio, where we have different kind of laser technologies, from cutting machines and etching machines, as well as in the future, laser welding machines as well. This is the 3D studio, where we have different kinds of 3D printers, from FDM to SLA printers, as well as 3D laser scanning and UV printing, 3D UV printing. We also have the textile area. We have different kind of industrial sewing machines, as well as direct to garment printers. And for textile, we're not only focusing on fashion design, but we're also focusing on technology, wearable technology in fashion, as well as anything that uses flexible materials. We will require the industrial sewing machines for. You know, you can think of also even space suits will require sewing machines to actually produce one. So this is one of the products that we can create at the textile. We also have the electronics section, which basically houses all kind of testing equipment, from oscilloscopes to power function generators and power supplies and soldering stations and CNC PCB making machines as well. And here is where we basically can work on robotics projects, or any project basically that involves building an electronic system for it. We also have a co-working space, which is a quiet area with PCs loaded with all kind of design software, from CAD to CAM to electronics, PCB design software to graphic design software, and so on and so forth. We also have the metal shop, and in here we will have a CNC machining center, and also a CNC lathe, also manual and CNC. We have a welding station, TIG and MIG welding stations. We have all kind of different cutting machines for metal, as well as powder coating and welding, as I mentioned. And here we have the wood shop. We also have CNC routing machines, table saw, bandsaw, drill presses, all kind of tools and equipments which allow you to basically build any project out of wood or composite materials. We also have an advanced prototyping center, which is basically an open space where we have many advanced pieces of hardware, such as metal 3D printer and advanced CNC machine and welding machines as well, and mold injection machine and advanced plastic and polymer 3D printers. And this advanced prototyping center is mainly focusing on advanced industries and large corporations who would like to basically use the space to develop and test their own products. And also, it will be operated mainly by our designers and engineers. And the development of this lab will be continuous in the future as more technologies come up and more machines are added. We also have a designer hub as well for engineers and designers to basically work on developing their projects as well. So let's talk briefly about who will benefit from Sharjah Open Innovation Lab. Since we are affiliated with the American University of Sharjah, one of our main stakeholders are the students themselves. And the students, the lab actually offers an opportunity for students to collaborate with different people from within and the university and outside of the university to come up with their own ideas and test and experiment them, and basically offer them tools that are not necessarily available at their university or at their lab. So it really opens the door for them to basically enter the outside world of technology development and R&D and business startup as well. Professional designers and engineers, let's say independent designers and engineers who either work as freelancer or work in a company, and they have their own initiative, their own ideas that they would like to develop. The lab offers them access to all the tools and workspace that they require without any basically barriers to start working on their prototypes and setting up their own companies as well. Corporate and government as well can be parts of the SoyLab activities, where basically they can send a team of their employees to come and work at the lab, and with the help of basically the SoyLab team, work on research and development for some parts of some products that the government entity or the corporate firm would like to develop if they did not have access to these tools and machines at their facilities. So it really opens the door to many kind of companies to actually start innovating without bearing the cost of building their own lab at their facility. Also targeting entrepreneurs, especially tech entrepreneurs who basically want to gain the skills of how to produce and make their own parts, and reach the stage where they have a functional prototype, and basically this lab will also connect them to our last stakeholder, which are the investors, who will also have access to the lab, and they can see what is being developed and by whom. And it's also allows them to basically see the project or the company they are investing in, what is the progress of their products, and they can see the process of the research and developing happening in front of their own eyes, as well as, you know, opening opportunities to invest in any of the upcoming projects at SoyLab. So this is in general what SoyLab is going to be. Of course, there is a lot more that is going to happen over there. There's a lot of collaboration with international companies happening, and lots of programs, educational and basically in terms of business development collaborations happening, and you will be able to see many new emerging technologies coming out of SoyLab in a very short time. Hopefully this has been informative enough. Of course, we don't have all the time to go over all the aspects of SoyLab, but I think until here, and we are ready to hear your questions. So let's say now we can start the Q&A session. So if you have any questions and you would like us to answer, please just go to the Q&A tab and click on it, and from there, I believe you should be able to post your question. So we have a couple of questions here. I'm going to read the first one. This is really good. Is SoyLab inside the main HQ building or a separate space within a SRTIP area? Is it open for trade professional visitors? Okay, so yes, the SoyLab is going to be located inside the headquarters building at the SRTIP Park, which is the building you see in all the pictures. It's going to be located right at the center, at the ground level and the first level.
Okay, so Emini is asking, do the lab gives internship opportunities? Actually, we give internship opportunities for SRTIP within the park and for the lab. So if you're looking for an internship opportunity, go to info@srtip.ae and you would get someone to reply to you there.
Okay. There is another question here. Thanks so much for the amazing services you provide. Do you open the lab for free for entrepreneurs? Well, basically, we have the basic membership fee, which has not been announced yet. We will announce the basically the cost for becoming a member. But we still have many different initiatives and programs where you can become part of the lab. Depending, could be for free, depending on which organization or under which category you belong to. So all of these details will be available on our website soon. So just keep following us within the next 3 to 4 months and you will be able to see more details.
So there's another question on, I think, wait, just give me a second. Sorry, I think I lost it. Yeah, how do project developers connect with investors and what are the opportunities for international partnerships? As I mentioned before, we have partners all over the globe. We are considered the global hub for innovation, I think. And there's the connection between developers and investors is really easy through the connections we already have within the park. An anonymous attendee asked, are there any restrictions on the nationalities? There are no, we are all inclusive, or all religions or nationalities, we're all considered one. So we're all inclusive. Okay, so Ismail, do you want that?
Yeah, I'll read this question. Will there be new laboratories to be built at SRTIP? If so, what type of scientific purposes they will serve? Well, basically, we were only talking about one lab at SRTIP, and if you see that the park is actually quite large, and there are so many different labs and small factories and innovation specialized labs will be built at the park. I mean, from nanotechnology to robotics to biotechnology and
5G as well.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of
diverse
sectors. Yeah, but Soy Lab specifically is going to be a very open and diverse lab for mainly for producing prototypes and parts, and mainly by the members themselves. And we can also help if somebody comes and would like us to basically design and produce a part for them. We can also do that. How to reserve an appointment for a tour, or is it for free? Well, at the moment, we do not. We're not open for tours as the building is not yet complete. But as soon as the building is open, you can come and visit anytime.
So there's another question. Thanks so much for the amazing service you provide. Do you open the lab for free for entrepreneurs? So the lab works such as a subscription-based membership. So for example, if you compare it to subscribing to a gym membership or Netflix membership or a Spotify membership, you can consider it the same. It's a minimal payment that you have to pay, and then all the added cost is the material that you are going to buy from the shop that Soy Lab provides within the HQ itself. Is there any online workshops for learning sessions? When we open Soy Labs, there will be workshops either being online due to COVID, if the COVID continues until that time, or there will be in person within the makerspace itself. Okay, Ismail, you want to get some questions here?
Yeah, I'm going through the questions now.
Okay, when will this?
So when this innovation project will see the light? Well, currently we're working on the construction. We are expecting the construction to finish within 3 to 4 months, and so hopefully September, October, the lab should be open at best estimation. It could take longer, it could take less. I mean, fingers crossed. We'll be able
Yes,
to be able
yeah,
to open soon.
yeah.
Okay. Is there any open programs of SoyLab to apply for data projects related? Well, I mean, we will start all the programs with the start of the lab itself. At the moment, everything is on hold until the actual physical space is open, and then you will be able to see all the programs we're running at that time.
Okay, do you have a renewable energy development project, and is it open internationally? Yes, we do. We have, as I mentioned before, Merlin, who works and have an R&D center on aquaponics, hydroponics, and aeroponics. We also have Middle East, which is the Spanish company that works on solar photovoltaic panels. Okay. So one question is, until the lab becomes profitable, how will it be funded? So we aim for partnerships, collaborations. Once, for example, if there's someone that comes and develops an idea within our lab, and then we see that the idea is worth it, and then we want to either invest in your idea, support you, take you through all of it. Some of those proceeds of actually owning some of that a stake of your company or an IP would go back to the lab itself, and some of them comes from sponsorships and international collaborations, of course. Is it open for teacher, researchers, how to benefit to be a member of SoyLab? Ismail, I think you would like to answer this one.
I'm sorry, what was that question?
Is it open for teacher, researchers, how to benefit for a member of SoyLab?
Yeah, a general rule, everybody's welcome to join and become a member as an individual or as a part of an organization. Uh, it's the same concept for all. And you also, depending on the programs and projects we are running for different kind of technologies and fields, if there's anything related to you, you can also become a member through that, either if it's something project-based or technology-based. There is another question as well. What are some criteria will be considered by SOLAB to collaborate with startup technology companies internationally? Well, we are open for discussion for collaboration. So if you're starting a product or a company and you would like to discuss any collaboration opportunities with us, please go ahead and contact us. And we can basically start discussing what can we possibly do in order to basically help you launch your product and get access to the technology you require to improve further.
Okay, so I see a question from Nisaf. For Arab nationality, is there a partnership process or sponsoring for new project founders, and how? I've answered this again. Last one, this again. So first of all, we're all inclusive. So we're global citizens. We don't differentiate between nationalities. Second of all, sponsoring new projects or founders, it always depends on the idea, the viability, how realistic it is. Can we actually do we have the technology available to take that idea into the real world and then commercialize it? We take you through a criteria list, and then we sit with the board and decide if we are going to invest in one of your projects or not. And that's the process. So for us, asks, does it focus on innovation in business or education? So this is what's special about this space itself, because it links all of these different aspects and bring them together. So if you think of it, the untapped potential that we have here within our population is huge. Like the people that are able to take their ideas, move forward with them, put them down on paper, and then actually work on them is maybe 2 to 3% of the population. So imagine giving the same opportunity that those 1 or 2% of the population have to everyone on a minimum price that everyone can afford, and then having all of these minds and same mindsets sit together in one place. The, the things that you would get out of that energy and that environment is something on another level. So William is asking, is it possible to book a space in advance? Actually, Soylab would have, and they will have an online application that works both on Android and iOS. You would be able to book some machines, book courses, book classes, book instructors that could help you through the prototyping process, and then you can do everything from the app. You can recharge your membership card from the app, extend your subscription, cancel. There's a whole app that's developed that just for the makerspace itself.
All right, there's a question here about, you have mentioned about small scale production in your website, for which industries the manufacturing can be done. Can a food and beverage company? Okay, so basically when we speak about small scale production, we're basically, right now we are experimenting with different kind of manufacturing technologies, and depending on the projects we're working on, we are planning to set up basically smart factories, or let's say production line for very specific kind of materials and products. So this is something at a very early stage, but within the next few years, we will basically expand the lab not only to do prototypes, but to also do small scale fabrication runs as well. And this is still under research and development at the moment.
So I can see a question from Shijin. How can this benefit or cater to sectors like construction and oil and gas? And there's also a question about what support do you provide for the construction sector. So for the construction sector, as we mentioned before, we worked with ABB for 3D printing villas. We worked with Merlin for sustainable villas, green villas, on which to reduce electricity, water costs, and efficient material use. And then we also worked with the oil and gas industry in creating parts with 3D printing in metal for some sectors in the oil and gas in Abu Dhabi. We have 2 companies in Abu Dhabi, a company in Dubai, and then a company in the location that I cannot disclose here on the webinar. Other questions? Oh, and about the oil and gas sector as well, we also might have an accelerator coming on energy and renewable energy. So stay in touch for that. There's a question on how media offices and government institutions benefit from the service of Soy Labs. As we said, we have a whole designing section. We can use Final Cut, all the Photoshop and editing platforms and programs to help you do that. Are there any educational workshops that can be entered into a renewed schedule? I'm not sure I understand exactly this question. If you can rephrase it, please, and we'll try to answer it again. So did you have any projects related to innovation in agriculture research? So what's the main purpose of it, and how could we get any corporations in? We do have, we work with Merlin, we work with many different agriculture companies. The aim is to have a desert actually produce enough amount of food to self-sustain its population. That's the main goal. I think that's the big picture, is for people to get their food as fresh as possible, as close as possible, as organically as possible, without having to go through ships and countries and containers and planes until they reach you. So there's so many aspects of it. There's efficiency, sustainable, health-wise, it's safer for you, no pesticides, no GMOs. So when there's a question on, will you please clarify this for me? What do you mean by textile factory? Is it based on technology or conventional handmade textile? It's both. We have machines that do the conventional handmade textiles, like anything else, for example, for fashion based. And then we have machines that go deeper into having AutoCAD designs or designs generally implemented to them, and then printing those designs. And then if you want to implement your material with other materials, for example, carbon fiber has a lot of weaving into it and has a lot of textile work into it as well. So maybe that's one way. I'm not sure about the time we have left. So if someone can just let me know how much time do you have left.
I'm seeing a lot of questions pouring in, but don't worry if we didn't cover your question, or we skipped some of the questions. They are a little bit too technical, and we need to ask back and forth what is exactly how to satisfy your question. So if you really want to go through very technical details about the lab and what we will be able to do and how to collaborate, you can feel free to email us, and we can have more conversations about that. But I think it's a good time to conclude this session, and I hope you enjoyed what we've shared today, and hopefully you will become part of this lab and this era of innovation at the park. Thank you very much from my side. And
thank you guys. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the support. We'd love to have you all here one day. Thanks for your patience and have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.